Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Kind Balance. I'm Lauren, as you're probably aware. And if you haven't been here before, welcome. It's so lovely to have you along. And this time I'm going to be talking about how minimalism, what minimalism has to do with saving money, and how minimalism has kind of changed our financial situation and how we live more frugally due to implementing a minimalist lifestyle. So the first thing is, and this is the biggest shift I think that you can do with minimalism, is realize that it's just stuff, it's just belongings. There's nothing really that is super important, I guess. There's kind of a little bit, I guess if you kind of grew up in a life where stuff is really important to you, then is a big shift change. And it took us years. Like, I'm talking, we started minimalizing and getting rid of things probably about almost 5 years ago, and it has taken us that long. Now we can kind of look back and be like, oh my gosh, this journey has been so enlightening, and we have so many more stronger opinions about stuff. So we still have sentimental stuff, and I think everyone would always have a certain limit on that kind of thing, but we have found that it's kind of changed our minds on how we view stuff, and so it's kind of stopped us from spending money in that sense that we don't really yearn for stuff, we don't want for stuff. Like, often I think now we kind of do a lot more experiences, or we eat out a lot more, so we do things that we don't really have a tangible thing to bring home with them, and we're kind of trying to teach our kids to have this kind of lifestyle as well. But that's one thing that we've found is quite good. The next thing, and it kind of goes on from that learning about stuff is just stuff. It's about being mindful when you make purchases. Now, I know that as a parent, it is so freaking hard to just be mindful all the time. Like, oh my God, can you actually go to the shops with your children and shop mindfully? I don't know, possibly, and I really admire you if you can, and I hope one day I can too. But for me, I really have to plan what I want. I have to take the time to write a list and really plan what I'm going to buy. And often I'll do it without the kids, so I can really think about it. And if I'm shopping for something like clothes or that kind of thing, I try to do it without them, because I really need to think and be present and really connect with the item. And I know that sounds super hippie like, but I really need to be one with that item when I'm shopping, so that I can make a mindful decision. And with that as well, it's almost like planning the what you're going to buy in advance, so that when you go to the shop, you know exactly what you want, and you're not making a spur of the moment choice between multiple items. So it's definitely being more conscious, mindful, planning what you need to do and what you need to buy, where you need to buy it for, before you go and do it. And in doing that, we've often kind of almost stopped buying things in another sense, is that we might go to the shop, plan to buy it but never actually go to the shop. So then we're saving that money as well, which is pretty amazing in my eyes. But that has saved us a lot of money, because we're not impulse shopping, we're not buying things on just randomly for the fun of it. And I definitely don't go shopping, so I don't go to the shops just to browse, hardly ever. Actually never, I never do that. The third thing is learning delayed gratification. And I guess this is hard to describe how this makes us save money, but it has to do with that it might go on our list, but we might never ever go to get it, or we might never end up at the shops to buy it. So it's never a purchase, or we wait and purposely save the money until we will purposely save so that we have the amount of money that we need for that item because we've done the research, we know what we need to buy, and then we kind of go and buy it. So we're not bringing things into our house on impulse. It is all, everything is on a delayed gratification premise. And this is probably the biggest shift in being frugal and saving money, is because that shift from, if you're in a massive habit of going to the shops every Thursday night or every Saturday, and chances are you might have kids and do this, and it's kind of, you go and look and do that kind of thing, you're gonna see things that you want. It's natural marketing, shops, it's designed for you to buy stuff. So knowing, planning, and kind of being ready to have that delayed gratification is only going to save you money in the long term. And this number 4 is probably my biggest thing that's definitely changed our lives, and I didn't really do this before at all. So and it can be a bit confronting, I think, if you don't practice this kind of thing, and it is showing gratitude to your items. Now, I don't really make it public, although I am right now, that you should communicate with your things. And the KonMari method, I do talk about that a lot because I feel it resonates with me a lot in the decluttering process. But taking care of your things and connecting with them on a different level than you have before. Now, I like things, but I don't want to be in love with things, but I want to be grateful for my things. So I don't want them to own me, but I want to have an underlying careful gratification. And sometimes, and I always do this, I always show gratitude for my eBay selling items. When I'm preparing them, I give them as much love and as much gratitude as I can, so that when I kind of move them on to someone else, they've really had a lot of care given to them in the process, the selling process. And I adopt this with all of my things, not so much my kids' clothes, but definitely with my own clothes. I really take care of them and make the effort to show gratitude for them on a regular basis. Now, if you are starting your own frugal living minimalist journey and you're trying to save money and be frugal, I can tell you right now that gratitude is one of the best things you can do, and it's free, absolutely free, and absolutely change your mindset. Because if you've come from a cycle of spending and a cycle of buying and impulse shopping, if you strip that away from yourself, you're only going to be miserable. So the thing is that if you replace that going and shopping and buying and filling your lives with things, with gratitude for the things that you already have, is that only going to be feeling good about your belongings. And just a weird side note thing, maybe this could be 5, but minimalism teaches you all of the things that you buy that you actually don't need and you don't care about and you're probably not going to use. So it is a big change, I think, for people who, well, for us, we were just shoppers. We had no kids. We just bought stuff because it was cool or in fashion. And you know, at the end of the day, it actually, half of it, as we started decluttering and minimizing what we owned, half of it would go onto eBay or be donated or shared with friends. So I feel a bit like it kind of goes hand in hand, that when you start understanding your spending, you start understanding what you're buying, and you're trying to minimize, it all kind of glues together in this kind of package. And when you kind of start stripping that away and reducing what you're owning and reducing what you're consuming, then in turn you're going to be saving money, hopefully. So that is it. That is how I feel as though minimalism helps save money, and gives you a better understanding of you as a consumer. And yeah, it's quite an interesting concept. There is a documentary I think you can watch on YouTube about minimalism, and it's definitely a good one, but I don't want to overload with too much information, so I'll kind of link that below if you want to watch it. I think it gives you a good understanding of stuff. And that's for now. If you've liked this video, or if you have any other tips or any other money saving tips through minimalism, please write a comment below and subscribe for further videos.